welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters, as we are currently in its Group C to figure out which extra 3 players are going to be moving on into the brackets. Joining me here at the desk, I do have Mr. Katowice as well as Rotterdam, and because that previous series went on so fast, poor Rotti isn't going to have any series for us to check in with on the laptop, so sorry about that, mate. You already did 2 during our previous 1. However, Katowice will have one. Which is going to be Zest versus Pili Pili, I believe. Yeah,
that could be a good one. Like, Pili Pili already took out True, right? And so, I mean, this kid is a big surprise for the tournament. Who knows? PvP, anything can happen.
Yeah, do you think so as well, Roddy? Because after seeing that first series...
Well, I've got a fun little quote. I asked Pili about his group as soon as it was announced. And obviously he was still on Cloud9 because he just qualified out of the bracket yet and was super happy because he won that very tough series. Many people maybe didn't see the qualifiers, but he took out Elaser in the deciding series to qualify for the main event. That's a very big win. I was like, what do you think about your group? He's like, I love it, man. He's like a bunch of Koreans that don't know how to play PvP and a bunch of PvZs. Like, this is going to be great. So let's see. I think Pili is the underdog because Zest has shown us in the past, even when he may not be playing the most optimal style in PvP, whatever he does, he executes it on such a high level that it doesn't really matter if that's the correct way to play or not, because it's freaking Zest and he's so damn good. So if I'm going to stand here and say that I think Pili is going to take it, I think people will start a Reddit thread immediately to get me off this desk, so I'm not going to do it. But there is hope. There absolutely is a little bit of hope, but I do think Zest is the favorite.
So now we move on to our match that's coming up here, which is going to be Serral going up against Nerchio, a big ZvZ with a big feel, really, because these 2 players are so well known now in the non-Korean scene. What do you make of this Zerg versus Zerg?
You know, this is like a hard one to actually predict how it goes down. Like the new kid versus the old, and Serral I've seen coming up for so long at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I remember it was a DreamHack Bucharest like maybe 3-4 years ago, and it was the first time I had ever seen him play. I was like, okay, this kid, if he keeps playing, is going to be one of the best foreigners for sure. He's got he's just got that talent, those skills that you can just kind of see out on the screen. So with the way that he's been dominating the ladder and all, I think he has a decent chance of even getting out of this group.
All right, well, I'll talk about it in just a little moment. As for now, we can head over to the stage with Smix.
Thank you very much, Claris. After a crazy first game, it is now time to introduce the players for our second match of the day. For our first player, he is the youngest player at this event at only 18 years old. He has 1 win under his belt and he wants a second, while facing him is the Polish player looking for redemption after a very close loss in Game 1. Show some support. It is Serral versus Nerchio!
Big ZvZ with a big feel here between Nerchio and Serral as these 2 gear up for our second series of the day here on the main stream. So, Serral, man, I mean, having watched him grow and flourish as a player, Rotterdam, you've covered a lot of the European tournaments and been able to kind of see him, you know, just kind of prosper, as it were.
Yeah, from time to time, even though obviously the last year and the last couple of years have been in America, but I always keep a close eye on him. Serral has always been one of these kids.
Yeah.
Just like Katowice said, if you see him play, if he's in shape, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, this guy actually has what it takes to go further than just being one of those guys in Europe that's pretty good but won't make it on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
I really always believed that he had the talent to go all the way, and it seems like he's getting pretty damn close to that level right now. I actually think he's the favorite in this series. I really do believe so. The last time they played against each other was actually to qualify for this tournament. Serral didn't have to play the bracket like Nerchio. Serral took him out 2-0. That was the very first time in his career, though, that he did win against Nerchio, as all the other 5 times Nerchio won. But that's a long time ago, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is Serral, his current shape right here, right now, and the kid is incredibly good.
Yeah, their 2016s are kind of polar opposites of one another, where
Yeah.
Serral, as much as a lot of people were touting him for a long time, his best result was something like a 5th through 8th at Leipzig at the beginning of the year. But Nerchio had success across the board, but I don't really think that does Serral justice considering his position now.
Yeah, well, you know, Nerchio has so much success offline at this point. Like, he's always going to lands, he's winning stuff, and he's in front of his hometown crowd, having just played like a 6 set against ZvZ. So he should be very relaxed up there, where, like, I could absolutely see why you would say that, you know, Roddy, that Serral would be a favorite here. When you put it on a stage like this, and it's this important, is that going to hold true? Is he still going to be a favorite when he has vastly less experience?
I mean, there's so many cliches that we can look at here, because on one hand, you could say, like, Nerchio's mentally defeated because he just had a 35-minute game, right? That's one of the things we can always mention. The other one is like, well, Serral already took his first victory of the day against Patience. He was down 0-1, but he brought it back. He's feeling great. But you're right. Obviously, playing backstage in the play area where you practice, that's still a little different, because then it still kind of feels like ladder or an online tournament until you walk into a booth, and that's where indeed it is a little bit different. But I don't know. I think right now the kid is so good that this shouldn't influence him. I really think he has what it takes to perhaps even win this group. I picked him as the winner.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents, as we now head over to our commentary team for our Zerg vs. Zerg. It's Serral going up against Nerchio.
And the commentary team is Maynard and Pig. We cannot wait, guys. We love ourselves a good ZvZ, and we love ourselves these two players, Serral and Nerchio. There's a lot to say about both of these guys.
Yeah, you know, I won't back away from it. I tipped Nerchio to win the group, but he is the only one of the 3 foreigners in this group to have dropped that ball so far, 14 foreigner. But it was such a close game, and he has the home crowd behind him. You should have heard the audience out there. I was sitting there watching that series. Everyone was going absolutely crazy for this guy. But his opponent, the young Finn, he's also got a lot of hype riding behind him, especially from the pro players.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that whenever I talk to people about Serral, they are the ones, like the pro gamers are the ones that tell me this kid is dangerous, watch out for him. And in the bottom right here from Euronics, give it up for Nerchio!
And his opponent spawning in the top left-hand side of Belshir Vestige, the blue Zerg player, it is Serral.
I don't know how well the crowd audio is coming through the stream, but it is electric here in Katowice at the Spodek Arena. So good. That's what I'm all about, man. I already loved this day more than yesterday. I was like, you know what? Yesterday's games were fantastic. It just felt like something was missing. It's all of those kids out there in the crowd watching the games. Oh man, energy is through the roof right now.
It is actually going to be really insane. And Zerg vs. Zerg, such a fast-paced matchup, a very interesting matchup. I remember I was talking to Nerchio yesterday. I was saying, hey, you must be really happy you're getting Zerg vs. Zerg this whole tournament. On the LAN qualifier, mostly Zerg through to qualifying. And now again, a whole bunch of Zergs in your group. And he said, yeah, it's actually not that bad. He said, things have changed. It's not as bad for me as it used to be, because I'm sure he remembers kind of letting off steam, discussing the matchup with me in the past and having a lot of issues with just the volatile, aggressive nature. But his summary of this matchup and in this group was basically saying, look, against True, he's just going to go crazy and I just need to defend. And against Serral, he's going to camp and I need to find a way to take advantage of that. So kind of saying Serral's a very defensive player that's going to sit back a lot. So very curious to see how Nerchio chooses to play against that.
Mirrored builds for both players here as we get into the second minute mark here for Nerchio versus Serral. It just looks like Nerchio is just a beat ahead, and Serral's going to go for a little bit of a difference here. He's going to go for speed a little bit later, squeeze out an extra drones. Very, very small differences. But, you know, back to what Nerchio, like you were saying, he was voicing his frustrations in this matchup. I remember Nerchio saying, you know, he didn't believe that the better player won in ZvZ sometimes. And, you know, he feels like the state of the matchup right now with how it's being figured out by the pros, that it's actually a state where the better player often will win. That it's not the 50-50 coin flip matchup that a lot of people led it to believe.
Yeah, you know, whenever a matchup is this fast, it's very easy to kind of lose track of exactly where you gain and lose those advantages, and of all the small details that do tally up into you know, a victory. And even such a great pro player, can make that sort of assessment and be like, oh, it's all just chance when things aren't going their way. But hey, the action is going to start out. Nerchio coming up here with 4 Zerglings against just the 2 of Serral, already putting a bit of hurt on that hatchery. Serral, though, is going to get down here with the extra Zerglings in time. We'll be able to defend that. Good micro from both players. No one losing Zerglings just yet. Of course, both players are going for Baneling Nests and the fast third, which means this is going to lead into some Baneling skirmishes on the map very soon. A lot of back and forth action. Looks like Nerchio so far is the one to commit to more Zerglings. Already 4 Banelings going up out of that watchtower. 10 more Zerglings on the way. Meanwhile, Serral just powering out those drones.
Yep, so like you said, Serral's going to be the one that wants to turtle up, and Nerchio's the one that's going to try and break his shell. And let's see if it works out for him. Nerchio getting some drones up behind this as well. Serral's third's just about done. Looks like he's trying to make some defensive Banelings. One of them got picked off there by Nerchio's. Nice little start here for the Polish Zerg as he starts to move his Banelings and Lings forward here.
Nerchio droning really hard behind this, but already gaining an aggressive position. This is very confident from Serral to sit back so defensively, but he didn't have vision of this until just now. These Banelings coming.
Oh!
A missed detonation!
Oh my, huge blunder there from Serral. Maybe a little bit of jitters, but his Banelings exploded all the way to the right of the camera there, and Nerchio gets into the main. I mean, luckily for Serral, Nerchio hasn't done a ton of damage, but oh man, he gets a big scout here, sees exactly what he's up against, does not see the Roach Warren go down there. There's a tech switch here for now for Serral as he drops that extra gas.
Look at this great worker lead Nerchio's got out of this. This was not a huge commitment. It was a small pressure. He forced a lot of units out of Serral, traded out decently, especially with that missed detonation. So now Nerchio is up in that workers, but it's Serral's turn to put the hurt back onto him. There's this seesaw nature. You've got to use your units aggressively to stop your opponent's drone count getting out of control, and that's exactly what Serral's going to do right now.
Banelings are out for Nerchio though. Serral needs to be very, very careful. And with the Queen and the other Lings here to defend, Nerchio should be fine. He's lost his Banelings though. These 2 Banelings I think are all that he has left, and they have to move on here. No creep. The Queen's going to go down to these Lings.
Nice surround there. A good Baneling hits in response. Nerchio does clean that up, loses the Queen. At the end of that, both players looking like they are tied relatively neck and neck in terms of workers. The Roach Warren's a lot later for Nerchio. Meanwhile, Serral going straight up into Lair and Evolution Chamber, really wanting to play that longer game.
Is indeed. Nerchio getting into the main with a lot of Lings. I don't think Serral's going to let him get away with it though. He's still got Banelings left. He's pulling some here to help defend against the third. The Queen in a lovely position. Serral going to clean up Nerchio's Lings in the main. Nerchio with 2 Banelings heading into the natural lane. No reaction from Serral. 7 drones going down, and Nerchio's economy shoots further ahead.
Taking advantage of the chaos there. Finally, Nerchio finds that opening, secures himself a very solid lead in the workers. But Serral, he's droning so hard, he catches back up almost immediately with a new wave of drones replenishing and even overtaking. Already more Zerglings are coming across the map here for Serral. Serral is still ahead in the supply despite taking a few bruises here and there. The drones being forced off the line for Nerchio. Good micro, only loses 1 drone from that harassment.
Very nice there. Serral now has Banelings, and this is a little bit more dangerous for Nerchio, who's just morphing his defensive Banelings now. The Queen in a good position. The drone's not being pulled. Serral doing great damage here into the mineral line, getting 6 drones. His Ling's still alive as well. Nerchio's Banelings just about to finish morphing here at the third, but Serral's done good damage here.
Very nice play from Serral. 61 workers out behind this. Serral is just an absolute mechanics god right now. He's both fighting, defending, losing drones, attacking, and building drones behind it. Somehow his worker count just keeps edging ahead of Nerchio's. It seems like he's just the faster player here.
I think when he came across the map, when he was attacking that third, he was down quite a bit in workers, but he just made nothing but drones while attacking there and securing his third. Oh, and, you know, making his third more safe. And it's with the Roaches coming down here and the Lings and Nerchio looking for that Queen kill, but Serral all over this.
Serral's doing such a great job. Even going to focus down 1 or 2 drones down here. Just keeping Nerchio on the back foot. Nerchio's Zerglings are keeping the Roaches at home from Serral for the moment, but Serral's way ahead in this Roach count. He's already got +1 range finishing. He's going into Infestation Pit. Meanwhile, Nerchio, I think he recognizes he's behind because he's going for this Spire tech. His Roach tech is so much further behind. Surprise Mutas, it definitely has the potential to get him back in this game.
Absolutely, and you know, Serral could opt to use that really heavy Roach count to try and kill Nerchio before there's too many Mutas in the sky, but I feel like it might be a little bit late here as the Spire is just about to finish. Serral's Overseer going to come into the main now and see what's up for the first time here as he spots that Spire.
Nerchio not wanting to just play Roach versus Roach, and with good reason. Look at the supply count. Serral there up in workers, up in army, up in upgrades. Roach versus Roach, Nerchio would definitely be deadsies. But going up against this with a very different composition, he can change up his reaction, change up his style quite a bit, and potentially find advantages there. Serral, for now, is just putting down those Spore Crawlers on 3 bases. He's seen the Mutalisks, and the Mutas are going to allow Nerchio to take a faster 4th base, but where does he take it from there? It looks like a second evolution chain, but maybe just mass Roach to follow this up.
Quite possibly. So Nerchio is starting to pad out his ground army a bit, but as we know, Serral with a large advantage with that ground army. He's very, very far ahead in supply. 89 versus the 56. Nerchio does seem to have that economic advantage, and he supply blocks Serral as well, which is quite annoying. He's only just now making these 6 Overlords to fix that problem. So this is nice damage with these Mutalisks here from Nerchio as he tries to, catch back up to his Zerg opponent.
This is definitely going to drag out the game because there's no mobile anti-air on the map for Serral just yet. All he's got is these Infestors and some Queens and Spores that shoot up. No Hydralisks, no Hydra Den even down just yet. And it looks like Nerchio is going Tunneling Claws, he's going double upgrade Roach, but he's going to be going into his own Infestors as well. And this is a recent sort of thing we've seen happen in the European meta.
Yeah, Roach Infestors back in ZvZ.
Yeah, the Korean players don't really do this at all, outside of countering Mutalisks, of course. But people are just loving that Corrosive Bile Fungal combo, and it can definitely pay dividends if you can land it correctly.
And with this new style, this is the thing that Nerchio brought up. This new style is why he feels like the better player wins, because it's positioning, there's ambushes, there's traps, there's baiting, all the really high-level stuff that you only really see at the very, very top, the higher echelons of StarCraft II, and very skillful amount of units. There's a lot of spells you need to be control of, you need to be thinking about a bunch of things at once. And we got the Overseer of Serral seeing that 3rd base of Nerchio, sees that there's Tunneling Claws in these Roaches as well. And yeah, with these double upgrades, Nerchio's going to be able to catch up a little bit, but Serral already has that very, very important +2 attack upgrade for these Roaches.
Yeah, as time goes on, Nerchio will catch up, but you're absolutely spot on, Maynard. Right now, Serral has the stronger front-on army. He is ahead, but look at the threat. There's Mutas out on the map. There's Roaches with Tunneling Claws on both sides of the map, ready to base trade if Serral tries to push out. So Serral would love a frontal engagement right now with Hydras, Infestors, Roaches, and Ravagers with the upgrade advantage. But I think Nerchio needs to just buy time. He needs to keep on threatening counterattacks.
These Mutas trying to pull the army of Serral apart here. And Serral is moving forward with a very scary army of Zerg units. Nerchio is just chilling at his Zelnaga Watchtower on this side of Belcher Vestige. And he's heading up with his army, not as big, not as strong, but these Mutalisks definitely making things very awkward for Serral. He has to use lava and minerals to keep making these Overlords.
Only about 3 Infestors, 3 Fungal Growths here for Nerchio. Serral has heaps more. He lands them all over the army.
But the Infestors got Corrosive Bile to death there. There's not that many left for Serral. That said, though, will it matter? There are a lot of Roaches here and the Hydralisks that are better upgraded than Nerchio's army.
So many of Nerchio's units went down there, but you are spot on, Maynard. A lot of the Infestors died. Can we see the unit tab, please? It looks like 1 Infestor left for Serral, 2 for Nerchio. So both of them losing those very gas-heavy units, and that sort of resets it a little bit. Puts the focus back on the Roach versus Roach. That +2 attack upgrade is getting closer for Nerchio. It's so important that he catches up on that.
And when he does get it, he'll be ahead in upgrades, right? Because is Serral just on single upgrades?
Yes. Yep.
So Nerchio's army will be more powerful, but it'll be smaller. That said, though, some of the supply is in Mutas, and he's not too far away from Serral's army supply here.
Serral's got his own Tunneling Claws. He sharks right underneath the army. Nerchio has not responded. He has not reacted yet. He's seen the Tunneling Claws on the Roaches, but it might not have clicked. These Roaches splitting into his bases. Nerchio wants to get the aggression going, though. He wants to jump in on top of this base. Great positioning out of Serral, trying to hang on, trying to buy time here, but he's got Hydras in the back dealing so much damage.
And this huge concave here from Nerchio is managing to get the spring on Serral's army. He's getting pulled up here, but Serral doing a great job with these burrowed Roaches, spreading them around Nerchio's bases, unburrowing and harassing, killing a ton of drones.
Serral wants to defend this hatchery, but it goes down. The Queens couldn't get there in time for the transfuse. Great fungal catching the army on the retreat. Both players eating fungals. Meanwhile, though, this Roach counterattack is being devastating. Serral doing so much with just 9 Roaches split into 3 separate bases. Nerchio's economy is in shambles.
Yeah, a lot of it's underground, Pig, and it's not mining, so Nerchio needs to be able to catch. Wow, the income advantage. I mean, it seems like every single one of his drones are actually underground right now, hiding from these Roaches of Serral, which are still alive and still an ever-present threat. That's his only mining base the Observer just showed on camera there. Now he's mining.
There's more roaches here. Nerchio starting to clean up these roaches all over the place. He's going to start to shoo those away. Serral has a big lead overall. He's up about 20 supply. Most of that is army supply. He's got his own +3 attack starting up there. That's going to work out very well. I think Nerchio's hive is done as well, but he doesn't have the money to actually get into those upgrades only now. He is going to start it up, but he's got to get those drones back on mining. His economy finally starting to catch back up.
That's right. Serral's got a bit of creep spread between the natural and the third as well, which is making things will make things a little bit easier for him if he defends, trying to burrow in. But there is a lot of Nerchio here, so be very, very careful.
The army moving down the right-hand side at the same time. I love this movement from Serral. Look at this huge army. It's going to shove in on the right-hand side. I don't think Nerchio has enough units over there. He's going to need to pull his units back, and that's going to open up the opportunity for this attack on the left to get in and jump on that 4th base. It's going, and he's just got to make sure he doesn't get fungled on the right-hand side.
Oh man, nice move here from Serral. He's going to get some drone kills here. Nerchio pulling some of his army over to deal with this. Infestor's coming as well. Roach is pulling through. And Serral didn't capitalize with his army in the middle of the map here, so he's going to pull back. And Nerchio ends up losing his hatchery.
That was a sick maneuver there from Serral, threatening really hard in one position, forcing the response, and only then swinging in that hammer blow. And in an instant, he takes down that hatchery. Serral playing so patiently, really looking like such a solid macro player right now. I can see why Nerchio was talking about trying to disrupt this guy, because it seems like if you just let him get in his comfort zone and just play, the longer the game goes, Serral seems to find more and more edges for himself.
Absolutely, he's doing a really good job. This is such a back and forth game. Serral has had the advantage for longer than Nerchio has in this game, but Nerchio seems like every time they engage, manages to snatch it away from him. Great decision making and great strategical choices from both players. I'm already enjoying this series, and it's only 15 minutes into game 1.
Great observing there, pointing out there's actually 16 Ravages for Nerchio. Oh, nice. Only about 4 or 5 Ravages for Serral right now, so Nerchio does have the better fungal bile potential. Serral has Hydras and has more Infestors though, so he's got a lot more fungal to throw. But he won't be able to throw the corrosive biles on top of that. Oh, right now, Nerchio, he sees the army coming in, but he doesn't have that many units over here himself. He doesn't have much fungal defending this.
Huge fungal and bile combo there. Oh! Nerchio manages to get this concave somehow. Nerchio keeps picking these fights so well against Serral, who just seems to have every advantage until they fight. Nerchio pressing the advantage here and pushing Serral back.
The crowd is getting excited. Nerchio is starting to fight his way back into this game. He still doesn't have the Infestor count. He doesn't have the Hydras behind this, but he's about to catch up with that +3 upgrade. His +2 Carapace is on the way as well. Serral gets in position over here. Queen's trying to support the army, trying to back this up, but there's so many Ravages spamming the bile all over Serral's force.
And it looks like Serral finally, with the defender's advantage, gets those fungals, and a beautiful fungal there for Nerchio. A chain fungal, and the bile is going to kill a lot of Ravages here. Nerchio is taking drone damage back at home. The burrowed roaches again. Serral finds an opening to do economic damage to the Polish Zerg. This is such a bloody battle here between these two players in game 1. Serral remaking his roach army here, and Nerchio's army gets that +3 attack and is about to be 2 upgrades ahead on Serral's army.
Right when Nerchio looked like he'd finally pushed everything back onto Serral's side of the map, he was taking some nice fights. These 3 roaches just undid all of his hard work. They just killed so many workers, knocked Nerchio's economy down a peg, and Serral once again takes the supply lead. Look at that income graph. You can see Serral with some major advantages at a lot of points during this game. Nerchio, he's still got the Ravages. He's still got some Infestors, but he doesn't have the Hydras backing up his army. However, with the upgrade advantage, arguably his composition is still just as effective as Serral's. It all comes down to that spell usage. It all comes down to that positioning.
That's right, and you know, Serral's army may have more damage output with the Hydralisks, but Nerchio's is way tankier. He can take a lot more damage, and he's going to have a lot of roaches. A 15 roach lead and a 6 Ravager lead as well over Serral, which is a huge difference here, especially with the +2 Carapace.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a bit more creep spread, I think all these extra queens that Serral has would really come into play as a nice meat barrier. The problem with those queens is they're not maneuverable, especially off creep, so they end up just being sitting ducks for things like fungal and corrosive bile.
looks like both players, being pointed out by the observer here, they're chilling with their lava. So a lot more lava is available for Serral, and he's not max. So he's waiting to see, oh, there he is. This is Serral's plan here. He's going to use his lava and use this tech switch to get out some Broodlords with his extra supply.
I don't think, we still got the Spire from earlier from Nerchio, but I think all the Mutalisks did go down. He will...
Oh, he's aware. Oh, if he's looking at this Overlord, of course.
Yeah, if he's looking is the big question right now. I mean, those Broodlords are going to destroy a Roach Ravager Infestor army in a front-on fight. And 7 Broodlords are morphing. Serral, if he gets these up, he has the strongest army in a direct engagement. Things are going to become desperate for Nerchio. He'll have to counterattack. He'll have to base trade. He'll have to avoid it. And right now, there's no sign of Nerchio realizing what's happening. His army is spread out. He's got vision of this, but I don't think he's looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever expect a Greater Spire to be put over there at the 3rd hatchery location? It's generally tucked away into the main, and he doesn't have any vision of that area. So Nerchio, perhaps not looking on the map, could come in to spell his
look
doom
at the
here.
spread of Nerchio's units. He's looking for the opportunity to wrap around Serral's army. He's constantly repositioning. He's looking for the angle, but he still has not spotted these Broodlords. I have a feeling Nerchio is going to come in with a surround and only then realize that there is a flying army of death above him.
Nerchio does have a reasonably good bank, but it might be too little too late. If he loses this hatchery, things are going to start off badly. He sees the Broodlords here, and Nerchio immediately starts creating some Vipers.
Vipers, he can have ducked them, but he doesn't even have anything that shoots up. He's going to have to use Corrosive Bile, which is so hard to use to actually hit the Broodlords. It's just so expensive. By the time you do it, most of your army will be going down to your opponent's Corrosive Bile. This is such a hard position for Nerchio. Serral just doing everything right up to this point, constantly just weathering all the different harass, all the different engagements, and finally getting to his ultimate doom army.
There's a big fungal here, and these Biles could kill a few of these Broodlords, and another big fungal on the right, and it looks like Nerchio's actually starting to cut in the Broodlord count here.
Wow.
Beautiful fungals from the polishing, and he's attacking from the top as well. Nerchio with a full surround. Does he have enough to win this fight?
There's only one Broodlord left in the sky. Nerchio, how the hell is he doing this?
Oh my god, Nerchio is pressing this fight. He somehow won an engagement with no air units against 6 Broodlords.
You are not meant to win that battle as Nerchio, but somehow he has made it work. He's surrounding the last little pieces of Serral's army. He's overwhelming it. The last Roaches and Ravagers are going down. Nerchio with a decisive engagement.
Crushes Serral in the middle of the map here. Serral not dead yet. He's going to try and muster up a defense, but Nerchio is powering ahead here. His army supply is 30 in advantage. He has 2 upgrade advantages here with the Roach Headbutt, and they are engaging here on Serral's creep. There's not much time left for Serral to come up and muster a defense here. Nerchio, if he reinforces this might be all over right here, right now.
Nerchio's gonna push in here, and it looks like he has more roaches right now. He's gonna dive on top, not giving him any space to recover. There's one Broodlord in the sky somewhere right now for Serral, but it is not helping him defend. Interestingly, Nerchio is pulled back. Oh, there's the Broodlord.
A harassing Broodlord.
It's focus firing the drones down. Serral buying himself a valuable bit of time here. Actually, Nerchio's pulling his whole army back for this. He should have done. Surely he should have killed the 4th base instead of coming back for this.
I feel like he could have actually ended the game, not just the base there for Serral if he just kept pressing the issue with these roaches, but Nerchio...
Oh my gosh, he's dodging Corrosive Bile right now.
This Broodlord is the most effective Broodlord I've ever seen.
He's building a Spore Crawl. There's just nothing that can hit it. Oh my gosh, Serral with the hero Broodlord here is just completely destroying Nerchio's last mining base.
This is so awesome. Just see this one Broodlord doing harassing damage and microing out of the Corrosive Biles. Nerchio needs to fungal it and lock it down and kill it. It's almost on principle at this point. This Broodlord has been so annoying.
Yes.
I would send my army over to kill this thing right now.
Caustic Spray as well. But okay, Spore Crawler is here. There's an Infestor, but it doesn't have energy just yet. The Spore Crawler will eventually be able to deal with this. Nerchio is still way up in that army supply. He's trying to rebuild his Infestors right now. This Broodlord, look at it. It's just microing its way around, trying to do what it can.
You can't catch me, Nerchio.
Oh, this is just insane. But Serral, his army back home is still quite small. His 4th base, I believe, is actually completely, or almost completely mined out right now because he's had it so much longer than Nerchio. Actually, I guess it's been on and off. It's just he kept Nerchio's base evacuating drones, which is why Nerchio's is last as it has.
I'm sorry, I'm just so entertained by the single Broodlord of Serral doing so much damage.
The flying moustache of doom, man. It is.
It's on 13 kills. Wow.
Nerchio's going to try and take this base. There are burrowed infestors here for Serral. He's looking for those fungals. Both sides have the fungal bile combo. That's what it's going to come down to in this last engagement. Flanking Broodlord coming in from behind. We're going to watch the fungal. Oh, Nerchio comes down into a choke point a little bit, but he gets down there safely. The Queen's caught in the open. They are going down. Serral knows he needs the most perfect engagement to hang on here. He cannot take a half-assed engagement. Nerchio gets the grab. Takes out about 6 or 7 roaches there. No response from Serral. And Serral's army supply falling further and further behind.
This Broodlord's actually going to deny the space if Nerchio doesn't get rid of it.
Yeah, he's going to have to use a fungal. That's it.
Oh, and it's finally going to go down. Its Reign of Terror has ended.
Oh, but Serral's going to come in from the right-hand side at the same time, but he doesn't have any fungal there, so it's just a few roaches and ravages. Serral not coordinating his army properly, had his infestors lagging behind, and now he's got so few roaches and ravages left. He's sharking his way out of there, trying to regenerate some life. He's coming in here, and Serral needs to deny this base or he's out of this game. He's desperate, and he lands a pretty sick fungal, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, Maynard.
I think there's still way too much here for Nerchio. Serral's running out of options. He has a Corruptor in the sky, just sort of awkwardly following his army around, and Nerchio's army supply is still over 40, nearly 50 supply up on Serral's, and it's better upgraded. There really is not a whole lot. It's a game of numbers at this point. Serral pulling back into his natural, and Nerchio is just taking the whole map. Nice fungal, but can he capitalize?
Looks like he does just only land a few
there's a nice one there on the ramp. His Ravages and his fungal and bile combo is going to be his comeback here, but Nerchio has those tools too, and his engagements have been so good in this game for the most part. Serral long distance mining here because the 4th is running dry.
He's looking desperate right now. He's dodging these fungals as best he can, but Serral's so far behind in army supply right now. It's a losing battle. He's not able to find much damage here. He's going to keep poking forward and back, trying to land these fungal bile combos, but Nerchio's had enough. He's going to jump on top.
Please be careful here. He doesn't want to throw this game away to a huge reinforcement with a fungal. Nerchio doesn't have a fungal. He just has too much. GG! Nerchio takes game number 1.
Pulls himself out of a very nasty position there. And he counters Broodlords with infestors and ravages. That is not what you expect to see, but Nerchio, ever calm in the face of what any other player would probably look at as a sure defeat. Somehow.
I was like, I thought, oh, he's going to lose a hatchery and be on the back foot, and he'll have to make Corruptors and just defend for a little bit until the Corruptors get out, and then he'll be... No, Maynard, that's... Nerchio has a different plan. I'm going to fungal and bile them down and go for a huge flank and crush that point there. I think when that big attack happened, when Serral went for the natural with those Broodlords, that was the defining moment in this game for sure. Absolutely. Nerchio kind of took an advantage and then never lost it at that point. Yes, there was this Dr. Evil, super villain, Broodlord over on the left being really, being really annoying for Nerchio.
We thought it might do something.
But if you look at the supply, etc., Nerchio was ahead in every single way at that point.
Really impressive there from Nerchio. Serral really playing a very defensive style, weathering the storm throughout that game. But in the end, Nerchio was able to bring it out.
Yes, getting into game 2 pretty shortly here. And not too far away from game number 2, guys. Hope you've been enjoying the stream so far. Hope everyone out there in the crowd's been enjoying the games live here in Spodek Arena. I know we're all having a blast backstage. It's an endurance for the players it's an endurance race for the players and for us, Pig. We've got some sore throats here.
Yeah, poor Artie over there.
Poor Artie McToast.
Shouting his brains out yesterday. I think we're all just kind of going through, I think, overexposure to awesomeness throughout the sheer number of games that we are getting over this week.
Death by StarCraft. That's how I want to go.
And this is a young man who has definitely shown he doesn't have any sort of weakness or any ability to die from playing too much StarCraft because he trains so much. Serral is just grinding that ladder day and night. And it is where he has developed his skills. Of course, he's out of school. He's playing full-time now as well. So, guys, we are going to be launching into Abyssal Reef in just a moment. These two players trying to fight on in game number 2 of this best-of-3 series.
In the top left here, currently down 1 in a series. This is Serral. That's not Serral. That's Nerchio.
Spawning up here in the top left-hand side of the map, our blue Zerg, it is Serral. There we go.
I swear it was in the top left twice there. I'm not insane, right?
Yeah, well, we had to redo it. So
We redid it.
yeah,
We got there.
we got there.
All right, Abyssal Reef. Game number 2, Nerchio. 1 map away from a victory here. The crowd are definitely behind him, if there was any question in my mind.
It's such a special experience. We do get to come down here, have a homegrown hero such as Nerchio. Of course, Mana later today as well playing, and such a passionate set of fans. And they've shown in the past with events in Poland as well, not just for those Polish players, but really just for all of the heroes of the StarCraft scene. Way back when we had WCS Season 3 here in 2015 was an awesome event.
Yeah.
And been lucky enough to come back here to Poland. It's
Yeah,
my 3rd time here now.
That's right. It's actually my 3rd time here now as well, because I went to Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2015, 16, and 17 now. 3rd year in a row, and I hope to make it 4 in a row, hopefully, for next year as well, because this Polish crowd, I have not seen better, to be honest. Like, when you get into the Spodek Arena, it is as good as it gets. Like, we've been to BlizzCon, we've been to the big arena, and yes, that tournament is the pinnacle of StarCraft II, but the Katowice tournament is, as far as crowd goes, the Net Wars guys out there, they are insane StarCraft fans. It is so good to see.
All right, so Abyssal Reef here. Both players once again really showing their styles. It's funny, you know, you think of Nerchio as a defensive macro player, but we see that as the game goes on, he really does want to try and disrupt Serral as much as possible and do something to throw him off. It's almost disheartening. I don't know if any of you guys out there are Zerg players, but you've probably had this feeling where you kill about 10 of your opponent's drones, think you're way ahead, and then you watch the replay and realize they still had more workers than you. I feel like that's what the first 10 minutes of last game was. Like, Serral is just this rock, and it's like, no matter what you do to him, he's on top of everything else. It's like he doesn't get distracted from his focus. He keeps on doing everything at once.
And Nerchio going for a cheeky nibble here on the 3rd base. Not enough Zerglings to seal the deal. He's going to pull back here. And his Baneling Nest is done a lot earlier, so he can opt to go for a bit of a pressure, but at the moment it just looks like he's making drones. So
yeah, it looks like a similar setup to last game, where I feel like Nerchio is much more comfortable putting the pressure on, whereas Serral prefers the faster 3rd Queen, the faster 3rd Hatchery, pulling off gas a little bit more to get just a bit more minerals. So Serral really does adopt that defensive stance. This time, Nerchio is going to push a lot lighter though. Only a single Baneling on the offense and about, I think, 6 more Zerglings to reinforce. So this is a very small pressure, trying to get an overreaction from Serral. And already 4 Banelings starting up for Serral, so it looks like it's working.
absolutely. Serral's Banelings are getting ready. Nerchio starting to nibble again on this hatchery, but Serral's Queen coming down to assist as well. With his own Banelings and reinforcement of Zerglings, he should be completely fine here.
Nice little bit of pressure here from Nerchio. Does a lot of damage to the hatchery and just forces a lot of micro out, forces extra Zerglings. At the end of all this, Nerchio should have a slight drone lead. Yeah, there we go. His drones are spilling out just a little bit quicker than Serral's. They're going to seesaw in that drone count a little bit. Behind this, a really fast lair for Serral. Looks like he wants to rush up to Mutalisks while Nerchio is just going straight into Roach Tech.
Playing against his image here. This could trick Nerchio. Doesn't seem, you know, I mean, it's tough to be aware at this point of this rush to Mutalisks. Serral coming in with a bunch of Lings. 2 Banelings available for Nerchio.
Oh.
Whoa, big surround on the Queen. No, it does pull back. Waiting for his own Banelings to join in the fight. Serral also running into the natural. Nerchio cleans it up though.
Oh, Serral there was a little bit off. Almost sacrificed all his Zerglings onto the Baneling, but Nerchio just slightly too slow to react to that. Interestingly, there is a Roach Warren down here for Serral, but I still feel like it's Muta play because we haven't seen an Evolution Chamber, so I think it's more of a safety Roach Warren more than anything else.
Roach Muta is a thing. Like,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I've seen Zerg players pump out like just a handful of Mutas, not overcommit to them, and then get into Roach
Oh my god!
Wow.
Luckiest Zerglings in the world. That Baneling was like,
They
no.
just did a double take. And they're like, wait, what was that, a Baneling?
No, my leader told me I have to move over there. Like, there's 20 Zerglings around me. I should probably blow up, but I'm not allowed to deviate. Oh man, Spire is on the way, but great denial of scouting so far by Serral. Very important that he continues to limit the information from Nerchio, because Nerchio is building roaches here, but these are more safety roaches rather than aggression roaches. There's no push timing for Nerchio. There's no roach speed on the way. You know, his lair's very late. It's only just starting up now. So Nerchio really would want to be droning very hard, getting up that higher tech like Infestors as quickly as possible if he knew this was Mutalisks. But as long as he doesn't know this, as long as these Zerglings can distract him, this is really good for Serral.
Serral's Zerglings doing a bit of damage here. A good shaving of those Zerglings there with that Baneling for Nerchio hitting the left of that pack there. And Serral's Zerglings go down a number enough to be able to pull out. See, Nerchio completely unaware of the tech of his opponent at this point. He has only seen Zerglings, and he is powering ahead in those drones, like you said, Pig. 14 drones being pumped out now, and Serral's about to have Mutalisks as the infestation pit goes down for Nerchio.
Look how fast this fourth base is from Serral. Oh, and he's even picking up a few drones there as well. Nice moves from Serral here. Just being so annoying, so active with all of his units. And behind this, oh my gosh, the Overseer doesn't see the Spire. Still, he doesn't have confirmation. He does see the Roach count is very low though, and he's going to see this super fast fourth base, and he's going to go, whoa, whoa. I know what I'm playing against. And drops a second infestation pit. Oh, Nerchio a bit thrown off.
It's like maybe...
Maybe one's meant to be a Hydralisk. Oh, is that a third? That's a... Well, no, it was just two. Okay.
Oh my god.
I thought I saw one in the main as well. I was like,
oh.
Did I just see 3 infestation pits? But no.
No, pathogen glands going down here. Is this, yeah, so...
It's a bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. So we got Nerchio busting down these rocks here, giving himself a shorter path to Serral, but conversely, gives Serral a shorter path to Nerchio. The Mutalisks are starting to hit the field, and Serral is getting his roach count up.
Down on that third base of Nerchio, he's starting to lose workers. These Mutalisks are coming in and being very annoying. They want to try and deny that fourth if possible. Nerchio's over there on Serral's side of the map with his roach army. He's so far down in supply right now. This is just insane how good Serral is at this game. I feel like he's just constantly getting ahead.
Yeah, Serral is ahead in pretty much every single way right now. His army supply is almost double that of Nerchio's, and he didn't make that many mutas. Like I said, Zergs do like to make just a small cluster and really harass mineral lines, get rid of overlords, and then switch into full roach tech, and that is exactly what Serral's doing right now. Nerchio's army is going to have Infestors. That's the only advantage he has.
Yeah, Hydroden is now going down in the main base, but Nerchio really hanging on to this fourth base is going to be a real challenge for the Polish Zerg. He is up a game, so he has a little bit of freedom here, but he definitely would like to close this out 2-0 after that narrow defeat in his first match to Zest. Of course, Serral leading the group so far with his early victory over, I believe it was Patience. And both players want this one.
Oh my god, look at this army.
Oh, that's a lot of roaches. I mean, look, Nerchio's army is so tiny. I don't know how he can defend this. Look at the comparison between these roach balls.
This hatchery is dead.
Yeah, he's got to hold the choke point. There's no way he can move out. Oh, nice fungal. Gets a little bit of a bile combo on top of that, but another fungal whiffs. And so far, not the greatest trades for Nerchio. You can tell he's eager to get out of here and defend this location, but it's very dangerous right now.
That's a nice fungal, and the Biles are going to get a lot of damage done, but looks like Serral just has a little bit too much here. He's pushing back. Nerchio, he decides to pull out, but Nerchio has such a disadvantage in army and also in income that it is almost astronomical. But considering this is a mirror matchup, it is very, very tough to come back at this point.
Nerchio is going to be re-establishing the fourth base. Still trying to hang on. Those Queens really beefed up his defense. They did allow him to hang on. He's adding in Hydras to complete the composition. His infestor count, his energy is really what he's relying on. That's the one resource. He might be behind in supply. He might be behind in economy a little bit. But with those infestors gathering energy, that will give him a little bit of something to potentially get value out of over time.
Just briefly saw on there, looks like 30 more roaches in Serral's army versus the roaches of Nerchio. It's a lot more roaches. Now, I mean, there is actually an upgrade advantage for Nerchio. He's got 2-1 versus the +1 attack of Serral. But when the numbers are that different in an engagement, it kind of doesn't matter. You just overwhelm and barrel on through. But Nerchio's getting some room to breathe here. He has more workers. Serral's been leaving him alone, and I feel like he had the army to just end the game at some point. But
I could not agree with you more, Maynard.
Yeah.
Like He's banking resources now, he's maxed out, and his tech isn't any better than Nerchio's. Nerchio has the composition which is probably gaining better value with time since his Infestors are already out. Sure, there's Infestors being added in for Serral, and it's not like he's, you know, unable to play this stage of the game, but to build drones now when he had such an army advantage, I would have loved to see him splitting off some Roach counterattacks while threatening the front, instead of just pulling back into his corner of the map. Nonetheless, Serral still has the advantage, but I think he may have missed a window to just kill his opponent outright.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Pig, but Nerchio is giving room to get back into this game, and he is powering ahead with his tech. He's getting Hive on the way. The Mutalisk of Serral coming here doing a bit more drone damage, and they see the Hive and the Hydralisk Den as well, and he knows that Nerchio is going to have a very technical army, a higher tier army versus just pretty much Roaches and Infestors from
Roach
Serral.
counterattacks have done so much this game. Serral, he's just always got these Roach counters right when Nerchio wants to force the issue.
Speaking of forcing the issue, here comes Nerchio. Couple nice fungals there. Biles getting a few of Serral's units shaved off. Serral knocking on the front door of this natural. The reinforcements of Nerchio looks like they're overwhelming in number. Serral does get these queens though. Nice little pick off, but these Roaches are going to go down.
Nerchio a lot quicker on the defense this time around. He is back there with a lot of his Roaches cleaning this up. He will be able to hunt that down. Yeah, great control from Nerchio. Not going to let these Roaches hide. Just going to focus those all down. Ooh, don't leave them in there. Don't leave them.
Never leave a Serral burrowed Roach in your mineral line. That'll be the end of you. Nerchio too good for that. He's getting Aspire now. The Hive is done, so that can become a great Aspire and turn into Broodlords in this game. The Hive just about to finish with Serral, and he already obviously has his Spire, so he can start great Aspire a lot earlier if he opts to go down that path. His bank is quite high here.
Casual 10 Ravages extra just morphed in for Nerchio. He has so much Corrosive Bile. That's what I feel like Legacy of the Void for Nerchio is really all about, that spell. He loves that Corrosive Bile. Doesn't want to be the first to move into this choke point. Notice both players, neither of them wants to move into this narrow area right over that IEM logo.
That's Fungal Town right there. That IEM logo is going to be green if the Roaches move in there.
Oh yeah.
+3 first on the way here for Serral. Nerchio getting Tunneling Claws for his Roaches as well. And it looks like Serral's Burrowed Roach is doing more drone damage to Nerchio, and he takes the drone lead, 62 versus the 50 of Nerchio.
Both players are still maxed right now. Nice drone damage here for Serral. He's got the bigger bank and he's continuing to improve that lead. However, Nerchio does have the more sizable, slightly more scary army right now. And I mean, as we've seen many points throughout this series, Serral is more comfortable defensively. He really likes to build up to one big Hive, you know, that real power tech, Hive tech army,
and the death ball,
then do the death push. Meanwhile, Nerchio, he's constantly looking for advantage a little bit more, and I really like to see that out of Nerchio. I think it gives him a lot more chances to force mistakes, but so far, Serral's been very solid.
And these fungals are going down. Nerchio with a nice one in the middle of Serral's army, but Serral with nice fungals as well. And Nerchio actually catches an Infested there as well. Oh, that's a lovely fungal. Nerchio getting fungled as well in this choke. It's getting green here. Lots of Corrosive Biles for both players. Huge army supply dips for both players here. But it looks like Serral, maybe with the reinforcement, can beat this back, but he's taking a lot of damage to this hatchery. The lava getting Biles down as well.
Very nice Corrosive Biles on that massive lava there, building those Roaches. It looks like Nerchio's going to snipe the 4th base. The drones will mostly evacuate to the 5th. Meanwhile,
Serral's going to get a hatchery kill as well.
Good Roach counterattack there from Serral. I think Nerchio has to be careful. He can't overstay his welcome right now. These Ravages are exposed. Nerchio, no! He
pull out!
He A-moved. He wasn't watching. He was looking at home, and he accidentally split his army in half as those units stayed to attack the lava. A huge blunder. Nice Corrosive Bile. Starts to cover the retreat a little bit, though.
Nerchio taking this high ground. Serral not overextending, burrowing his Roaches, getting them healed up. Wow, I don't know why that was so hard to say. +3 on the way for both players. They're going to have equal upgrades for their Roaches. Serral's army, very similar to Nerchio's here. He's making a lot of, well, it looks like he decides to cancel some of these Ravages, but when you turn a hurt Roach into a Ravager, it does get all of its hit points back. It's a good way to heal it up, but the other fact of the matter is Nerchio loves Corrosive Bile. It has won him so many games in several matchups, and there's the Broodlords. First one on the way here for Nerchio.
It's actually really comical watching these battles where there's fire raining down from above, killing the units, and they're instantly then floating back on up. I feel like I'm watching some sort of like anime where it's like, you know, you're battling in hell or something, and they're floating up after they die. But it's just been a crazy game so far, and Serral, he knows how to take a punch. No matter what Nerchio does to him, he seems to climb back up and always have that supply lead.
Looks like Serral going to get +2 carapace as well, as +3 is already done. He's on 3-1 right now. Getting those Hydralisks now. Nerchio already had Hydralisks, so I'm not sure how many he has left, but he did have a handful at one point. So just 3 left. Really negligible number of Hydras here. Bullying away that Overseer for Serral. And Nerchio, again, trying to find a position.
I think we're going to need the zoom out. There we
There
go.
it is.
Beautiful. Look at this. Oh, gosh. Who is going to move in first? Who's going to land the fungal bile combo? It looks like both of them will.
Yeah, both players fungal each other. The bile's going down. That's actually a very nice fungal for Serral, getting some of those infestors, but Nerchio catching some of Serral's units, and Serral again having to pull back here, giving Nerchio the concave.
Oh man, this fight was just brutal. Both sides taking big losses, but finally, for once, Nerchio takes the supply lead. It looks like all of these engagements are finally starting to favor him. I'd love to see the units lost tab. It looks like, yeah, Nerchio has just...
He just knows how to pick fights, man. He just seems like the more experienced guy in the ring. Like, you know, he's older, he doesn't have the hype around him, but he's coming in here and he's like, I'm the veteran, Serral. You might be the new guy, you might be 16-0 in whatever boxing circuit you're talking about, but he just knocks his block off every time they have a battle.
And yet Serral keeps on getting back up and continuing to take punch after punch. He's almost maxed again. This next fight still could decide the game. Corruptors are finally on the way here for Nerchio. I believe both players have a great aspire, but they just haven't been able to find the money to transition into it. It looks like finally Nerchio is heading in that direction. Serral, after losing that last fight, still not even thinking about Corruptors.
Nerchio has 1 Broodlord, I think. He may have lost it in that engagement versus Serral. And there's a nice fungal, actually. A bit of skirmish here. These very, very important infestors for Nerchio. 1 gets piled down. It looks like Serral's going to lose some roaches on the side here. Nerchio's army split up. He's hitting from the right and from the left here.
He's coming for a Serral from every single angle, Maynard. Fungal's landing on the right. Roaches and Ravages wrapping around this force. Serral turns and lands some amazing biles of his own, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Just seems like too much army here for the Polish Zerg. He's 30 up. Serral trying to remake his army here. The lava here at this hatchery is exposed to the corrosive biles again from Nerchio. Another fungal going down the biles, taking the roaches out, and Nerchio is pressing the issue in game number 2.
Nerchio rolling over the top. The reinforcements getting cancelled.
Oh!
There. The bile going down. Nerchio.
GG!
Classic play.
Wow. There's a lot of hype around Serral like he's the new kid on the block. All the pros are afraid, but Nerchio is not afraid here on the stage here in Katowice. Gets a 2-0 win in front of his home crowd. Make some noise for Nerchio.
Talk about having to work for your victory, Maynard. That was a real sweat he had to work up there. It was like tactical maneuver after maneuver coming in from the right angle every time. But, I mean, Serral, he just held on and held on. But eventually, the Polish player comes out on top.
Absolutely right. Well earned. Serral putting up a great fight. I expect him to do pretty well in his group as well. For Serral fans, do not be discouraged. But first of all, we are going to take a short break and then get an interview with Nerchio on the stage in Smix, and then head to the boys at the desk. More games to follow. Don't go away.